Hello, everybody, and welcome to my totally amateur review of the Roli blocks. So some of you guys might be wondering what the hell are Roli blocks. If you've ever heard of Roli, the company, they make musical equipment and whatnot, and some of their, like a couple of their claims to fame are the Roli Rise keyboard. It's like a big, huge keyboard with spongy key with a spongy membrane over where the keys would be, just like this, a spongy membrane over it. And those things are quite large and long. This thing's very short. This is the Seaboard Block. It is basically like a spongy piano. But the blocks are basically modular, so you can buy each one. This is the live block, and this is the loop block. You can buy each one, and then you can connect them like so. Ta-da! You can connect them like that, or you can connect them like that, or you can connect them like that. No, you don't do it like that. But basically, you get the point. You can connect them. They're modular. They're really cool, and you can take things out and put them in as you want. So basically, this is for people who want to make music. I don't know, on the go or whatever, because all these things have batteries in them. They're all portable, and there's of course an iPhone app for it, right here. This app is called Roli Noise. You can find it on the App Store, and you can download it even if you don't own all this stuff here. You can actually play with it. You can play with it just on here, or you can play with it on the block. Okay, so it's pretty cool, pretty convenient. I bought all of this stuff after watching a bunch of videos from Andrew Huang and Sanjay C and Tetro on, I don't know actually if Andrew Huang did Roli videos, but I know it was Tetro and Sanjay C that really got me into the idea of Roli. Before I had these things. These are the first hardware synth pieces that I got before I went down the slippery slope of getting more music hardware. Before all of this, I had used Fruity Loops for years until about 2005. I just gave up on making music. So yeah, this is my first foray into the hardware stuff. I picked up my set of Roli stuff about a month ago, as well as the iPhone X to run it. I had to switch out the iPhone to the Note 8, Samsung Note 8, to the iPhone X because Android doesn't have the Noise app to run this stuff portably. Could have used it on my computer, but no, I wanted to take it out with me, and I wanted the easiest possible solution ever. I thought that would be having it on my phone and not on my computer, but anyway, whatever. So, okay, here I am with a new iPhone and a set of Roli blocks. What next? I gotta tell you, let's say, first impressions about these things. I really like the feel of everything. It feels great in the hand. It's solid. It's heavy because of the batteries inside. It looks pretty premium. And I will tell you that the sounds that come in the Roli app, or in the Noise app, are great. There's some really good packs in here. Groove boxes and drum kits and stuff like that. I'm very pleased with the app. There is, maybe not the best thing about the app is that I might have been expecting a bit too much from it. I kind of thought I was going to buy the Roli blocks and stuff like that and then be able to write full songs. You can't do that. Not with this. You can make a bunch of little loops, and you can record a bunch of loops and play them out sequentially. Press that, it'll play through, and you can press that to cue it up, and it'll play through that one. Then you can press that one. You have to basically do manual sequencing the entire time. There's also, it's kind of limited because there's basically only 4 tracks at a time. There's the drums, the secondary, which is probably going to be your bass, and then a lead and some kind of a background sound. So you're basically working with 4 tracks, and you're switching through them sequentially. It becomes a bit extraneous to manage all of that if you're let's say trying to do like a bass line in one set and then the next thing in one set, like trying to change, let's say, melodies or chords or something like that through there while it's playing, it can be a bit of babysitting. So it's not exactly where you would wish that the mobile app could be to make full songs. You can export loops and things like that. Like you can create loops and recordings and then export them, and then you can put them into your DAW back onto the computer and start working on songs and whatnot on some other device that can do this stuff. So as a standalone for a music device, if I were to say, oh, okay, if you wanted to get one device to be able to make music really easily and on the go with your phone and stuff like that with some hardware or whatever, I wouldn't say Roli is your best bet. You're only going to make little bits and pieces, and it doesn't really suit that need. However, combined with some sort of device that can record the loops and sequence them and stuff, I'm pointing at these two guys here because both of them can do that. This thing's great. I've written some really simple songs on the OP1 that kind of sounded a little bit sparse, like this. They weren't very densely packed at all, or there wasn't enough progression or transition from one part of the song to the next. And then I would, plug in my iPhone to the recorder on the OP1 and start playing a loop on the Roli blocks, like on the noise software, into the song while it was recording on the OP1, and just it just complemented the song entirely. It was just a wonderful progression to go into that, and then. It was like adding a nice little surprise to the song, that going from very synthetic sounds at the OP1, because it is a synthesizer, the sounds sound synthetic, to just the like earthy, real, almost analog sounds of the noise Roli selection, sound packs and whatnot. It was a very nice addition. As a standalone music production center or music production device, no, definitely not. But in unison with other devices or software like a DAW, definitely, sure, awesome. Let me talk a little bit about build quality, or not build quality so much as an issue that I've had with my Roli blocks, or a couple things that are maybe not so positive about it, and then I'll talk about the Seaboard and stuff like that, how I like that. I love that. First thing I'm going to talk about is the loop block. This is my loop block right here. I'm just going to turn it off here. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. And I'm going to turn it on and see it's not connected. Now you see how it's got, like 60% power left over right now? The interesting thing about this is if I plug all of these devices into the wall to charge, so one USB-C charger going into here and charging all these things, every single one of them will charge fully except that one. That one actually will not charge while it's plugged in with the other things unless I plug it into the computer. Now, you might think, oh, I guess I have a faulty unit. But the thing is, this is the second one. This one was replaced for me because the first one did the same thing. What the hell? 2 loop blocks in a row. At first I thought, oh, I've got a faulty loop block. This thing won't charge at all. I couldn't get it to charge at all. I was very frustrated with it. I returned it, got the second one. It charged the first time I bought it, like when I first bought it, because it was fully dead in the box. Plugged it in, it charged itself full. Since then, it hasn't done that. It will not charge full from the wall. It won't charge at all from the wall. However, I realized that if I plug it into the dashboard app that you install on your computer so that you can plug these things into your computer, if you plug it into the computer through USB-C, it will start blinking and charging. And it charges all the way, slowly, but all the way. And what I figured out is this thing will not charge when it's in standby mode. Like this block here, if the lights turn off and it goes into standby mode and it's connected to a charging device right now, it will charge all the way, even when it looks like it's off. This will not. As soon as it goes into standby, it's just basically hates power, hates electricity, and it will not charge. That's frustrating, very frustrating. I have a solution. I can plug it into my computer, but the fact that it behaves so differently from all the other devices from Roli, and the fact that it's the second one that I've got that's done that, and I'm just too exhausted to go back and try to argue with getting another exchange, yeah, forget it. I'm stuck with it. And that is perhaps partially why I don't actually use my live block and my loop block so much. I haven't had any problems with my live block, but I don't know. I find that I'm usually only using the Seaboard Block. Now, of course, there's the light pad right here, or the light block right there, and you might be wondering, why don't I use the light block? I bought the light block. I mean, I live in China, so I had to buy everything from the Chinese Apple Store, the real Apple Store. But I guess their stock was a little older, so they had the regular light block, even when the light block M was just released. And I didn't really, I don't know, think it would be a big deal getting the old light block, but I kind of regret it in retrospect, because the problem with the light block one is it's really stiff. Like, it's not sensitive at all. It's really hard to press everything. You got to really hammer on it. And I didn't really think much of the rigidity. I don't know, rigidity. I didn't really think much about how rigid it is, or how rigid it was, until I went to Beijing 2 days ago, and I went to the Apple Store, and they had the Light Block M there, and I immediately started playing with the Light Block M, and the first thing I noticed was how nice it feels, the contoured or a grooved top on the top here, on the Light Block M, and how, like, you just push in a little bit. It's a lot more like using a Seaboard Block than it is using the traditional light block. This thing really has to be hammered on. And if you're tapping beats, it's usually no problem. But if you want to tap a beat and then move it up and then try to press another one down here at the same time with a weaker finger, you might not get full presses, or you might, I don't know. It just seems like it takes a lot of effort. It's very uncomfortable, actually. So, I don't know. Maybe later I'll get a Light Block M, I don't know, to replace it. I can really just use the phone if I need to for that. But that brings me down to the Seaboard Block. I will say that the Seaboard Block is definitely one of my favorite hardware synths. I mean, I don't really have many to choose from, but I played a lot of like electronic keyboards throughout my youth and stuff like that. Or if I go into like a toy store, or not a toy store, a music store, I'll see like the synthesizers there, and I'll start playing with them, and they're all fine and well. But playing on a Roli feels quite different. It's significantly different. You know, it's pushing it, it's kind of spongy. Your finger definitely pushes in there a bit, but it's kind of like, it's interesting sponge. When you just push lightly, it feels like the whole thing's going to be just like a marshmallow, but it quickly builds up pressure by like pressing deeper into it, because the spongy material builds up tension as you push deeper. It's quite nice. So you can note things like that very softly, or you can push harder, or you can peck them, you know, just a tap on it. There's lots of emotional expression to this thing. So I can do here, and then go sharper, or go back to a more dull sound. The top of the keyboard can be pressed, and it's sharp by default. The bottom of the keyboard can be pressed, and it's dull by default. So that's quite neat. It's a very nice touch. I've seen people doing things on YouTube and stuff where they slide their finger down the actual keys, and I gotta tell you, it's not actually as easy as it looks, because these things can kind of like, the rubber can kind of bend and build up tension and flick in your finger. So I don't know. But there's some really cool stuff you can do with this. It's a very expressive keyboard. Oh, and of course, when you do this, it feels pro. I mean, I gotta tell you, it feels pretty awesome when you're like, you know, you wiggle your finger as much as you would imagine I don't know, like some master of music to be doing when they're playing this crazy like that. It feels really good. The Seaboard Block feels fantastic. And this time, unlike my OP1 review, I'll give you a really quick sample of what you can do on here. One sec here. Let's turn off the click. Where are you? Apparently, hold on one sec here. It's a very nice sound here. And just put a little beat on there that I just did. Here, this is the noise app playing right now. Very simple beat. Yep, okay. Okay, so you've heard a little demo of me playing on this thing. There's, of course, more that can be done with it. Let's see here. Let me just turn off the notes and things if I can find them. The chords. Which block's it on? This one? Of course, now my blocks have decided to stop communicating with the phone. Okay, that's fun. Lots of fun. Okay, so I'll talk about another thing that I kind of don't really like, and I hope that there's a fix for it. I find recently, like in the last week of trying to use the noise app, if I try to record something, usually when I like record a beat or something, I'll hold my fingers on here and it's playing a groove box. I mean, it's automatically playing some kind of kit or whatever. It'll finish recording and then it'll play back something different. It's not the same beat that I recorded. And I recently saw the update for Roli blocks, or like the noise app, and it said that they fixed this, but I don't know, mine still does the same thing. It doesn't even just play the first, like the update notes, the patch notes say that they fixed the issue where it records something and plays the wrong way the first time and then plays the right way this like after that. But for me, it just records it wrong. And that's frustrating. It means I can't really depend on or rely on the noise app to record loops for me. It is always glitchy. And I don't know if it's something to do with my phone, with the iPhone X, and maybe they made it for the iPhone, like made the app for the iPhone 8 or something, or they don't test it. I don't know. I don't know if it's too many apps running, even though I just restarted my phone and then opened it back up to give it as much RAM as I could. It's kind of inconsistent, and that is frustrating. It's definitely a frustrating experience to be trying to record loops on here. When I first got Roli Noise, it worked quite well, and over time it just started working worse and worse. Maybe I need to delete all my projects and try again. I'm not sure. But that is something to note. It is not 100% reliable, at least in my experience. Then again, I looked up on Google about, noise app different issues. I like did a whole bunch of different searches for noise app bugs, noise app glitchy, blah blah blah, and I didn't come up with results on it. Especially in the last week or month, I didn't come up with like other results. So it appears that maybe it's just something that affects me and not others. I don't know. So yeah, how about my conclusion for this review for everything? Well, before I do that, how about I give you one example of a song that I was writing in here. Hold on a sec here. Here. One more example of a song that I was writing in here. It's kind of playing weird, I don't know why. So here you can see I'm sequencing by tapping the things and turn them off. Just tap them to turn them off. Yeah, so there's a little thing that I made in there. I made this when I first got Roli and Noise, like the first day that I got it, or the second day that I got it, I made it. I don't know if I can make it again today because the application doesn't work very well recently. But I don't know. I'll see if I can troubleshoot that. But anyway, how about a conclusion about all this? Wrapping up this review. All in all, I would say my experiences with the Roli hardware have been, I guess, so-so. I haven't had any problem with this or this. Like, they work as they should. I find this is a little bit stiff and hard to press, and when I compare it to the feeling of the Light Block M, it's very disappointing. If you wanted to go out and get a Light Block and you're going to buy the Light Block M, I would say, oh damn, go for it. It's a lot of fun to play with the Light Block M. It feels really good. The original Light Block, yeah, and you better have strong hammer hands. I don't know. And the Live Block works really well, but I mean, so do all the commands on the phone. So I don't know. Again, it seems redundant. My Loop Block, not charging unless I plug it into the dashboard, is really confusing and strange, and it's the second one that does it that's strange. But the Seaboard Block, in conclusion, I would say this is probably one of the best pieces of hardware I've ever bought. It isn't super cheap. I mean, it's $300 or $400 to buy it in America or Canada or whatnot. Maybe probably $500 in Canada. It's not 100% cheap, and you need an iOS device like an iPad or an iPhone to use it, or the software on PC to use it at home. But it really does feel nice. It's a really nice device. If you do get noise, they do have. Let's see here. They do have a store where you can download free samples as well as pay for like newer, buy sound packs. And there are a bunch of real like well-known artists that have released sound packs, and you buy the sound pack and it comes with all sorts of instruments and effects and beats and whatnot. And you can see the description for that when you open up their sound pack. View details, and it'll tell you what you get there. It's really cool. I've probably bought 3 or 4 sound packs, and I've also downloaded about 10 free ones, they weren't free because they were cheap. They were free because I own these things, and Roli is basically saying thank you. And I kind of almost feel like the sounds and sound packs that they gave pay for the misadventures with the other devices, because the Seaboard Block is so nice, and I don't know. Whatever, maybe I'm just being too much of a pushover. But all in all, I would say that I'm very happy with my Seaboard Block, and I would be very happy with a Light Block M. And this is cool, but I don't use it so much. And this I don't know. It would be cool if it didn't bug me so much. I honestly think I would use this and this more if this one didn't bother me so much. But because this one, I don't know, gives me this negative feeling of it's not working properly, I kind of ignore it subconsciously and instinctively. And it means I also ignore this one because I'm just using the phone to do the commands that are on both of these. Yeah, whatever. But all in all, would I say to go out and buy these things? Definitely. Definitely Light Block M, not this one. And if they work, definitely. It's been a very entertaining experience. And if you have this stuff mixed with some sort of device that you can record onto, sounds absolutely wonderful. Okay, that's my Light Block. That's my Light Block M review. That's my Roli Blocks review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. And again, don't subscribe. Sanjay C subscribed to me. Don't subscribe. I hardly ever make videos. But I do thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. The next time I do a review, I'll probably review that beast right there, the Akai MPC Live. Yep, wonderful. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks very much, and see you guys later. Katicus out.